Time to finally go ahead and put away those winter toys here in the northern hemisphere. We're starting to see that warmer weather, and that means it's time for the old boaters to go ahead and bust out the boat, get it down to the boat ramp, get it launched, and get ready for the season. Just like some of the things we're going to witness in this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. And speaking of boat launches, we might as well start there because that's where most people are going to start their season, is trying to get that boat out into the water. Now, of course, everybody's boat launch is a little different, and the way they launch their boat's a little different, but some ways to launch a boat are definitely better than others. Now I know this might seem like a good cheap way to go ahead and get the old free car wash, but that one's not going to work out well because you're going to wind up with nothing but a rust bucket in the end. I'm definitely starting to think he should have wore a life jacket to work today. And speaking of life jackets, I'm betting our guy thought he was never going to need it. I mean, heck, when he bought his Cybertruck, he was told that the Cybertruck was going to be waterproof enough to briefly serve as a boat so that it could cross rivers, lakes, and even seas that aren't too choppy. The CEO of Tesla even added at one point that the Cybertruck was being designed so that it could cross the water between SpaceX's Starbase and South Padre Island, which is about 1,100 foot of water, yet it didn't make it more than 20 foot off the ramp without sinking. I mean, heck, some of them Tesla Cybertruck boys probably bought their Cybertrucks thinking they were going to be able to do something like this with it, get out there and hit the rapids, but obviously that's being proven wrong, and that's not going to be a deal. Speaking of seeing weird things out on the water, what kind of contraption is this right here? I've never seen a tube like this. That's the Dethicus 3000. Speaking of seeing things that don't quite belong out on the water, well, in this situation, a yacht does belong on the water, but it doesn't belong right here. They've definitely found themselves in a hard spot. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this situation. Do you think Cap was trying to give them a better view getting closer to the rocks? Or do you think the people who were on board chartering the boat were like, hey, get us closer to the rocks, and Cap agreed to it? Either way, Cap's probably in the wrong, but man, this is a wild scene watching this boat get absolutely beat to shreds right here against the rocks. Surprisingly, they did eventually swim a tow line to another vessel, and this is the scene here as they're now getting pulled off the rocks. Unfortunately, it's just too late. This boat's been beat to snot, hung out to dry on the rocks, and well, now she's gonna go down. Somebody go ahead and call Jake because I think they got a claim that he can handle. I wonder in a situation like this if the insurance could go ahead and claim that they were just doing something so boneheaded they don't want to cover it. And speaking of boneheads...
So we just tied off this boat, right? We just tied off this boat. Birdie tied off this. But look, Travis tied off this one.
What's wrong with that?
Travis is not tied to the dock.
Oh my god!
Now I really need some more context here as to why this wake boat owner is so mad that he's trying to sink these boys in a john boat.
What is he doing? Man, relax. We have boat problems.
So they're obviously having some sort of engine problem. They're trying to let the other boater know, but he definitely wants them gone for some reason.
We're trying to. We're trying to. Look. We're trying to.
This seems eerily familiar to other situations that are going on right now. I wonder if this is the greatest damn wakeboard boat captain they've ever seen that spends about 300 days on the water. I guess where this one really confuses me is they're obviously trying to leave, so why not let them go?
We are. You said that. Man, if they have kids here, then stop swearing. I'm sure the kids don't want to hear you cussing all the time, so don't say that to us. We're trying to leave.
Speaking of the greatest damn thing you might see, well, this might be the greatest fisherman you'll ever see, because I've never ever seen another fisherman go out there and catch a swordfish barehand. I mean, it doesn't really seem like a fair fight, though, when the swordfish is being ganged up on. Right here, we got 4-on-1. But I still can't figure out if this is the bravest fishing I've ever seen or the dumbest fishing I've ever seen. Of course, what kind of episode of Boneheaded Boaters would it be if we left the old blowboys off? Somehow, he's got an entire ocean, and he found the one sandbar to go ahead and land his sailboat on. I mean, I have to imagine there's some sort of mechanical error going on here. Something's gone wrong for them to wind up this close to the beach on the one sandbar in this area. But still, it's gotta be a scary situation being stuck out there on a boat, getting absolutely clobbered by waves like that. I guess the only way it could be scarier is being clobbered by a wave like this being pushed into some rocks. So maybe our sailor wasn't so bad after all. Maybe that sandbar hit was intentional so he wouldn't wind up like this guy and he would just only be stuck on the sandbar. I definitely do feel bad for this crew. It's not the way you want to end a day of fishing, but they decided after this they were only going to fish from land. It would definitely be much safer. They were wrong. Now I wonder in this situation if captain on this boat, this wasn't his honey hole, his secret fishing spot. He saw homeboy sitting here and he's like, no way bro, nobody's taking my spot. He decided, let me go ahead and snap his line. But still, I have to imagine running into the rocks like this was probably a costly error. A good way to go ahead and puncture something in the hole or possibly mess up a prop. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is boating, bust out another 1,000. We all know every time we make a mistake on the water, it's gonna cost some money, but some mistakes definitely cost more than others. Now, I have a feeling Cap forgot the golden rule on this one, which is never approach anything any faster than you're willing to hit it, because I gotta tell you, that was not a slow speed impact. Now, while typically in boating we would tell you to move slow, take things easily, there are definitely times in boating where you're gonna want to move fast, kind of like our guy right here, making a run for it as this vessel is going down. This is definitely not one of those moments you want to go ahead and take it easy. You definitely want to be on the move, just like he is, and I still can't figure out for the life of me how in the world he pulled this off. That's actually a lot of effort and work right there to figure out, okay, the boat's going down, how in the world do I get off of this vessel onto this bigger ship? My man just grabbed onto a line, booked it, hustled it, and somehow got it done, but unfortunately for him, his boat, well, she's going under. Thanks for watching, crew. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. If you ever see anything crazy happening out on your waterways, be sure to hit us up at Broncos Guru on Facebook or Instagram and let us know, and you might see your stories over here. Just like Paul DeBill, Prickly Scuplin, Bobby Brown 8791, Adam Coolidge, Rhett Nelson, Melissa Rosie, Picasso West, Don Finlayson, Lisa Taylor, and Jeff McMillan did this week. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here. If not, we're coming to steal your drain plug. And if you haven't already, check out our other content at Boats vs. Haulover and Miami Boat Ramps.